Yo, what's happening, world? Name's Raheem Flowers. I know it's been a minute since I made a video, and you know, it's not because I couldn't have made a video and I couldn't have been creative and I couldn't have made some sort of commentaries, but I never like to force myself to do something just because it may have been like a week or two. See, that's what a lot of these rappers and a lot of these artists do these days. They just oversaturate all the content that gets put out instead of pacing themselves and trying to create something that is a lot more thoughtful, something that will stick in your mind, and something that's not half-hearted, half-assed. You feel me? And I'm thinking to myself, that's what the relationships between the black man and the world has become. It's just a relationship that is, there's just so much contempt that the world has for us. Some people could question that it's karmic, whether it's things that involve the bad decisions that many black men have made in women, and not just black men, just men altogether, have made in women. Whether it was the karmic reaction for what has happened involving those known as the Moors and the Barbary slave trade and the white slave trade, and just being sold out by our own people. I'm talking about the people as being Africans, and more specifically in West Africa, and then the whole transatlantic slave. You could talk about on some Catcher Freeman Boondock shit. You could talk about a slave catcher. There's multitude of and many angles that you can look at for the overall plight that I'm not even going to say black people, but specifically and especially black men face. Just look at all the jokes and the memes and the running gags that we've been reduced to. Even something as common as "don't drop the soap." Black men, for Pete's sake, get mocked for even the prospect of being raped while being thrown in jail/prison. Even though Kanye has his issues, and Kanye's guilty of doing a lot of goofy shit in the course of his lifetime, Kanye also spoke about things that have validity to it. But he's also made a fool of himself in many instances too, because the man he's too inconsistent as an individual. I ain't even talking musically. I'm saying philosophically, principality wise, he's just too inconsistent. You can't go from saying George Bush don't care about black people to Donald Trump being your brother. It don't work like that, yay. And then listen to how Tyrese will go on things like the Breakfast Club and give men advice on women, and then he's out here crying because he can't see his children because he has a struggle within the dynamic of the mother of his children, his baby mama drama. What more do you want from me? And then the whole Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith entanglement. Like, being a black man I would say, look, I have no shame in being a black man. And I know that there's many greatness that the melanated man has done throughout centuries. But I also have to be objective and say that look at the shortcomings, and look at the embarrassment, and look at the simping, and look at the destruction, and the lack of synergy / unification. Like, damn. But shout out to those brothers out there who are doing the thing, whether on an individual or a collective scale. Shout out to all my black men, all my brothers out there who are doing what they need to do here in Chicago. All those young black boys who did those schools in Inglewood who didn't have a single woman involved in that movement, in that schooling. Shout out to those young brothers and the ones mentoring them. Shout out to Tristan Walker and his business with Bevel. Shout out to my man College Knight. Shout out to Brother Kel, Big B Kel, for making his grand return to YouTube. And I'm sure he has much more greater content coming our way. But yeah, with that all being said, we got to start looking at and recognizing that we have become a public enemy to the world and a running gag overall. So all this Black Lives Matter, all this farce that even one of the founders, one of the godmothers of that movement just admitted that this is something that is largely influenced by Marxism. When has Marxism ever given a fuck about black people? See, we lose focus when we talk about that. Look at the Black Panthers, because they were into Maoism, which is an extension of Marxism. And look what Angela Davis has reduced to, being what? A feminist. And what has feminism done for the so-called black community except damaged it even more than it already was damaged? Homewreckers. We lose focus because we get involved in other people's movements that have nothing to do with black people. Why do black people vote Democrat? Why are black people leaning more towards liberalism? Why are black people leaning more towards conservatism? Just be apolitical, I say. See, it's not too much negotiation, too much blindly accepting these movements and these ideologies that only hurt us. But, you know, I'm gonna digress from that. I just had to say this because it was on my mind. Peace out, everybody, and one love.